Hey folks, it's Andrew from GembaRed, and today we're back again with another quick product review. This time we're going to take a look at the LightStim for pain, which is a really neat product. LightStim has been around for a long time, probably a lot longer than a lot of the panel companies. And LightStim actually has some FDA approval for some of their products. You can look it up, what's called the 510K for the FDA letter. Is publicly posted to approve some of their products. I couldn't find one specifically for this model. I think there's one for at least the wrinkles model, which is very similar, except the wrinkles model I think has more red, and this one for pain has a little bit more near infrared. And that otherwise is still kind of a similar handheld kind of setup. So again, you know, these are more, you know, the LightStim products are a little bit more targeted towards the cosmetic industry and for professionals, which is great. So, you know, it's really curious for me to compare it to, you know, some of our panels on the market, to some of my products, and see how it tests out. And so we'll go through, we'll do a quick intensity test and do some EMF tests. So we just turn it on here. It's really simple, and then they say you just kind of put it right on the skin. I think they say for about 3 minutes per spot. So you do 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. You know, you can treat your face, 3 minutes. So you can go around and do that. That's kind of a similar for any of my handheld products, especially for higher intensity products that you don't want to build up too much heat on your skin at one time. You might want to do like 1 or 2 minutes and then keep moving it for a total dose. This timer is set for 10 minutes, but like a total dose, you can move it around while you're dosing it so you don't get too much heat. And so I'm not sure, you know, sometimes, especially with the FDA approved products, they try to keep their intensity numbers under the radar so people, you know, people don't copy them. But what's the point? You know, it's easy to get a laser power meter or whatever to compare to. So it's kind of, you know, I'm transparent to the year 2021. You can't hide, you know, everyone's got test equipment's cheap, you know, information moves super fast. No point in hiding specifications or anything. So I'm going to measure it with my Sanwa. I'm not sure if you'll be able to read it, but maybe if I hold it up, and you know, there's a couple different wavelengths. You can see a little bit more orange LEDs are going to be about 630 nanometer. We've got some deeper red LEDs, that's around 660, and then the near infrared I think are going to be a little bit closer to 850 or so. And so I'll just hold this right up to it, and it doesn't seem, even if you're holding right up to it, it's not maxing it out. So they're not super high intensity, so it's reading 13 on that. Can you read it? So hopefully you can read it. So 13, maybe I'll move it around, see if I get some different, but maybe 13 to 14. And then I have to decide what my correction factor will be, because I'm reading some infrared and some reds on the Sanwa. And so maybe I'll just use 0.8 and average it out. So I'll do 14 times 0.8 divided by the sensor area is 0.636. And we get about 17.6 milliwatts per centimeter squared. So 17.6, you know, there's going to be some variation with how I estimated the correction factor, but you know, that's a decent amount, especially if you're holding it to the skin and you're, you know, getting 100% of that light. You're not letting a lot of it bounce off. You know, it's designed to be close to the skin, so you're much more efficient than a panel. You know, with a panel you need tons of power because a lot of it's going to bounce off your skin. So if you're aiming it far away, you know, that's not going to do a lot. But if you can get it right here, you minimize the losses. And the LEDs, they do look like they're kind of narrow. They form these little spots, so you can see how the lenses are forming those little narrow spots, so they do seem to have a narrow beam angle, even though they're the little button type LEDs. I was going to compare it to my Spazer, but I think it just maxes out if I try to hold it close. I get 36 or 37 on the deep red. Yeah, I max out the near infrared because of the sensitivity. But I get 33 on the red and 30. Oh, now it's reading 38. So let's see if you can read that. So I'll hold it over the red. So 33, if it's still over it. So again, 33, compared to 14, we already know it's going to be almost double. But 33, let's just multiply by 0.975, and then we're going to divide by 0.636. So that's 50 on just the 660. So we get 50 milliwatts per centimeter squared compared to the LightStim. What did I say? It was what did we have? 14 times 0.8 divided by. So it's 17. So 50, for all these different LEDs compared to 17. So you're definitely getting more power. Again, these devices have been a little bit more vetted out. So maybe, again, I wouldn't look to necessarily what's the most powerful product on the market. What are the products that have been established, with maybe FDA approval or with some, good results and good testimonials. And so it's not just about the power. Obviously, this is my product, and I'm telling you, it's not just about the power. We can learn a lot from products like this that are actually less power, but they still seem to, have a lot of traction with the industry. You don't always need a ton of power to get a big effect. So maybe, this one, if you're doing 3 minutes per spot for this, you might only do 1 or 2 minutes per spot and keep it moving, and you can cover a bigger area faster. Again, but what's the trade-off? How much time do you need? Is time an independent variable? Anyway, so that's my rant about intensity. Let's look at EMFs, because both of them are plugged into the wall right now. And it's a good opportunity to look at EMFs and learn something about that. So I'm setting it to milligauss. We're going to look at the milligauss first. Both of these don't have any fans. They don't have fancy electronics. So I expect the milligauss to be really low. And we already showed the Spazer in another video. But it's still reading 0.3, so that's pretty much the same as the room. There's no change. We can look maybe down by the cord, maybe 0.6. Oh no, it goes back to 0.3. So it's still really low. You can read it. And then the LightStim, we don't expect much. Again, it's 0.3. Yeah, so it's super low for the LightStim. So it's plugged into the wall, but no fan. The adapters are external. They're connected, they're further away. So the adapters, which will generate some EMF, you won't be very close to, because it's just a DC cord running into these devices. So magnetic field's not a problem. Sometimes we get electric field traveling up these cords. And I didn't measure that in the flex beam video on my Spazer, but you can see, even though we're plugged into the wall, I said it's a E, so this is going to be in volts per meter, and it's an electric field meter by gigahertz, ME3030B. And so, yeah, we're not reading much. This is reading 0.2, or not 0.2, it's just 2. Now it says 12. So you don't really see any change at all on the electric field, even though it's plugged into the wall. It's got a high quality. I've got a 3-prong adapter. It's this guy. I'm using a Globe Tech ink. I get it from Jamico. Just a 5 volt adapter. So it's really good. This one came with a 9-volt adapter, only 2-prong. So that raises a red flag for me. Electric field could be a problem if it's only 2-prong. You know, again, I've talked about this stuff for years. And you hear the clicks, kind of went up. So we're up to 200. Right? 280, so almost 300. And we can check around the cord. Cord doesn't seem too bad, so where you're holding it isn't too bad. If you remember my video with all of those cheap bulbs from Amazon, you're holding it by the cord and you got a ton of EMFs, but obviously both of these, because they've got DC cords, sometimes the EMF's much lower, so your exposure is much lower. But again, up here, where there's, you know, a little circuit board maybe, you know, for the LEDs obviously, it jumps up. So that's where you're getting some exposure. Unfortunately, even with a medical grade device, it's got a little bit more EMF. Again, the medical community doesn't really care about EMFs, right? When you get a product certified, unless you're doing something like a pacemaker or something, you know, a super high magnetic field, FDA probably isn't really checking it out for these types of EMFs that we talk about. So, you know, again, so it's a bit higher. So this one was 280 EMF volts per meter on the electric field. And I already forgot. This one was, what, 20? Starts out low, but then, yeah, it's super low. So again, huge order of magnitude, and because I've gone through and I find high quality adapters. So hopefully that helps you kind of understand the LightStim. You know, again, there's pros and cons, much more kind of professional looking, got a nice little grip, but it's lower powered and higher EMF than our product. But you know, again, you know, it's good to learn from these products that have been around for a while, been established with the FDA, and see what we can understand. Maybe there's a reason why they chose the intensity that they do, and our products, we're just trying to keep up with this industry of more and more intensity, but there's going to be a limit to that kind of goal or effectiveness. So thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you have questions. Thanks.